Welcome to Goodbye Good Girl podcast. I have with me the most energetic, inspirational, international public speaker that I personally know. And I am so jazzed. Her name is Kimberly Crowe. She is part of the amazing Speakers Playhouse. She also created Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel. She's going to tell you more about all of that. So I'm just going to say welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Lori, I'm so glad to finally be on this great show with such a wonderful title. I love it. Love it. Love it. Glad to be here.
Let's break all the rules, girl.
I
Let's
love
do
it.
it. Yeah. So tell me, tell everybody listening about the incredibly high energy and amazing work that you do with people who want to be public speakers, with entrepreneurs of all stripes. What you
Awesome.
do.
Yeah. When we created Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel and Speakers Playhouse, it was all actually after a change that I had sort of in life where I had this realization sort of slapped into my head that we only have so many go rounds on this planet and it needs to be fun. And so my motto is if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And that came from many years of really not living by that motto and doing sort of what they told us to do, which leads right into the topic of your podcast. So I did what
Yes.
many of us were probably, and many of your listeners were told to do, which is I went to school, I got good grades, went to college, and then got a good job with health insurance. That's what I was supposed to do, right?
Right.
And got married, raised a family, and I was in it thick. And I was at the company for about 17 years. 15 of them were pretty good. And the last two, not so much. I
Mm.
realized that I was in what some people call golden handcuffs. I had climbed my way up the corporate ladder, just like they told us to do, by being good and following the rules. And I got to an executive level position at a Fortune 1000 company. And I was very deeply unfulfilled and really unhappy.
Mm.
And I thought that when you got to the top of the ladder, that's when the happiness came.
That's what they told us. Yeah.
Right? Just
Yeah.
keep doing what they tell you to do, and eventually, you win the prize. And I don't know what that prize was, but it wasn't there at the top of that corporate ladder. So
Yeah.
I actually resigned. I resigned a couple of times. My company was very good to me, and they kept trying to find new roles for me and something else I might like to do. But I was in nothing wrong with it. I was in the world of staffing. I was helping companies hire professionals and programmers, designers, drafters, technical writers, people that have a degree and that were sort of like me, that were professionals. And I did staffing. And then eventually I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like it was fun climbing the corporate ladder, but now like, why am I here? And I just don't love it. And so it took me a while. It took me another 2 years to realize this is just not it, and I need to leave. And we left on great terms. I gave notice, and they were fine with it. We left on very good terms, and then I decided that I would become an entrepreneur, full time entrepreneur. And I had a goal, and I think it's the goal that everybody has when they start an entrepreneurship. I don't know why it's this way, but they're like, I want to build $1 million business. I want to make it to $1 million. And I guess
Right.
that's like a very common goal. And it was certainly one that I had. And so that was what I decided to do. And then I thought, well, how am I going to do that? And I went to my friends and family and I said, I'm going to be a full time entrepreneur now. What should I do?
Oh,
And they
wow.
said, well, you were so good at corporate. Like you were really good at that job. Why don't you just hang your own shingle and do that? Create a staffing business. And I thought, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So I know how to make contracts. I know how to hire employees. I know how to I hire internal staff. I know how to, do business calls. I knew how to do it all, run a P&L. And I did. And I built it to $1 million in 18 months.
What?
And I should have
Wow.
been really happy, but I wasn't. I was
Mm.
really, really at a crisis point. And I had a moment, a spiritual awakening slash breakdown.
Yes, been there, done that. Okay. Tell me more.
And I was like, I'm not going into work. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And so I called my employees and they were going to run it. And I said, I'm not coming in today. You can cancel my calls. I'm not doing it. And I went out and I hiked a mountain, which was nearby our house. It's called Iron Mountain. And I don't know, I thought like hiking the mountain at the top, there'd be like a swami with a turban that gave me all the answers. And there wasn't. And so dejected, I came back down and I was met at the front door by my son who said, oh, Mom, I'm glad you're home. I have a problem. And Lori, I don't know if you have kids, but I was like, great. because if I can focus on somebody else's problem, I'm going to be
Right,
fine. Like,
right.
I just need like 5 minutes to focus on anybody else's problem because I can't solve this problem anymore, right? And
Right.
so that was the thing for me that was like, okay, this is the difference maker. So I said, "What's your problem?" And he said, "Well, I'm 15 and a half and we're going into summer and I'm too young to get a summer job and I'm too old to go back to summer camp because I'm 15 and a half and that's all boring and stupid now that I'm smarter than everybody on the planet."
Yeah, of course.
I was like, okay, well, how about this? How about we create a business around something that's just for fun? We can just create a business that'll be fun for you to do and me to do, and we'll do it together and we'll just have fun doing it. We'll just goof around. And maybe we'll make some money and maybe we'll create something fun. And he goes, that sounds great. So we put into Google all the things he was good at, and I put in like teen jobs, and he loved being on stage. He loved doing improv. He loved working with
Me too.
kids. He loved, right? He loved being able to read kids' stories, and he acted out all the parts and everything. So we put all that in, and it came up with this idea that was really creative. It said, "Why don't you be an audiobook narrator?"
Oh, heck yeah.
And his eyes got really big, and he was like, "Can we do that?" And I was like, "Sure." I was like, "Why not? Sounds like fun." So,
Yeah.
we set about, we bought some equipment and stuff, and he set it up, and we started auditioning for books, and the authors loved us, and we got more business than we could handle. We got so much business that we couldn't even do it all before the summer was up. And he was like, "What do we do?" And I was like, "Well, we're committed now. We got to get these books done." And so we
Mm.
actually went to a local adult school and taught other people how to be an audiobook narrator and voiceover artist so that we could offload some of the work and get other people working. Like, it was so much fun. Like, it was like this huge thing blossomed out of it. And we were having
Wow.
so much fun. And I thought, this this is what life is about. It is not about trying to be the good girl, doing the right thing and following the rules and climbing the corporate ladder. It's really about what lights you up, what you have fun doing.
Yes.
And when you have fun, you become magnetically attractive. It becomes easy and effortless and joyful. And when you have fun, you light up. And later, I found this amazing quote, and it was from a guy by the name of Howard Thurman, who was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor, like
Yeah.
cool guy, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "Do not ask what the world needs. Ask what lights you up, because what the world needs are more people that are lit up."
Yes. Yes. 150% yes.
Isn't that awesome?
A
It was like,
150%.
this is my new way of life.
I have to ask you, when you were first breaking away from the corporate thing, was there something in particular that you found the stickiest in order to go from that to becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think it was I was really good at it. Like, I
Mm.
really knew how to do this. I was in the top 1% of the group, of the what do you call it? Community group? Like, what do you call that? I was in the top 1% in my field. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I was really good at what I did, made the company a lot of money. And when you're really good at something, you think that's what you're supposed to be doing for the rest of your life.
Ah,
It's sort
yeah.
of like if you're really good at playing piano when you're a kid, and your parents are like, "Keep playing piano because you're going to be a pianist, and you're going to be like, you're going to make us all rich," right? And you're like,
Yeah.
"I don't love it anymore. Like, it's not fun for me. Now it's all practice and icky feeling, and it's not
Right.
fun." And so you resist that, because even if you're really good at it, if you don't love it, then something's off. And so I think for me, the hardest, stickiest part was walking away from something that I was really good at because I just didn't love it anymore.
I think that for me, it's been an incredible shift to go from the shoulds to the what do I want? Like you
Yeah,
say, what lights me up?
yeah,
What lights me up is being on stage. What lights me
yeah.
up is talking to people. What lights me up is sharing my information. It's just like, give me a microphone and a stage and I'm happy. But
Isn't that awesome? And
oh my
and
God.
honestly, Lori,
Yeah.
you're right. That does light you up. You light up when you get on the stage. You light up when you get a microphone. You light up when you get to interview people and talk to them and share their messages and help them get seen. Me too.
Yes,
A lot of people don't get lit up by that. That's
true.
because there's a lot of different people in the world, and we all get lit up by different things, right? So
Yep.
some people get lit up by, like, I have a good friend, you know her too. Her name is Jennifer. She loves baking. Like, she just loves it. Like, she's the one that makes the cookies that look fantastic, and they all have the,
Oh,
like, she's an artist. She's incredible at what she does. Speaking of artists, my mom is an artist. She loves teaching art and she loves doing art. I don't like it. Like, don't put me in front of a page and make me create. Yeah, or write a
don't.
book. I don't love that either. Like, sitting down to write a book, I've written several of them now, and it's one of the hardest things for me to do because it's just like,
Wow.
ooh, this is a discipline and I must do it. And it's just like different things like different people up. And that's what makes the world go round, I think.
Absolutely. And I spoke to a friend yesterday who called me from, I'm in Ohio, and she called me from California going, can you talk to me? Because I went live and did a little 10-minute spiel about what I'm up to and what I'm teaching. And she went, I'm not happy, you know. And I was trying to teach her this process that I came up with called the 1% solution. And in order to do it, you have to be able to focus on how you feel. And she
Mm.
said what so many women do say, which is, I don't know what I feel.
Mm,
I
yeah.
don't know. I'm thinking what I'm feeling. So when you're doing your work, when you are getting people to get out there and show how they're lit up, do you come up against that sometimes with
Oh yeah.
people that
Well,
you're working?
it's just like they there's that feeling like I don't know if I could get paid to do this. I don't know if I can make a
Mm,
living doing what I
right,
love.
right.
And you have to look out there in the world for people who love what they do and see how successful they can be. I mean, think of some of the people that are your biggest mentors, right? And you'll think this is what they love. And from
Right.
Zig Ziglar to like, I follow Abraham Hicks, huge fan of Abraham
So do
Hicks. I
I.
like
Huge fan. Yes.
love her to pieces. Like, she's got more money than she doesn't need any more money. She keeps
No.
doing the things because she loves it, right? And she's
Yes.
not even like, she loves channeling and helping, Abraham's message get out, blah blah blah. She loves it. If you go to in the same vein, if you go to a church and you attend the
Yeah.
church, you can tell if the ministers love it and they're into it, and the ministers who are like just doing the thing because it's their job. Same thing with teaching. You can tell the teachers
Yeah.
who love it and the teachers who are doing it because they're in tenure, right? Like, it's you got to be lit up, and you can make
Yeah.
money doing what you love. You just have to figure out how to monetize it.
That's it. And also there's another part to it for me and not being a married person, which is how do I balance the need to do some work in the traditional setting? Not my favorite place to be, but I make it fun because I'm not willing to have my day be crap until I can do what I
Yeah.
like. So I invest my energy into people and quality of work.
Actually, I love that you said that. I am not willing to let my day be crap.
Yeah.
Like, how many of your audience, like, how many of us actually say that on a daily basis? Like, you wake up and we all have bad days, right? But
Yeah.
imagine waking up and being like, nope, I am not going to let this make my day like crap. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to allow that. I love that. That was very inspirational.
Thank you. And thanks for pointing it out. I should be over here typing it in going, okay, I'll use that. And a lot of that I got from Abraham. Um,
Yeah.
because if you want to really try to enact what Abraham talks about, and anybody who doesn't know who Abraham Hicks is, just go to YouTube and you will
There's a
spend the rest of
bazillion
your
free
life
things out there from
watching.
her. She didn't need to make any
Um,
more money. She can, but she doesn't need to make any more money. And there's a lot of free stuff out there.
oh my God, tons. She's so generous with just like here, yeah, you can use all my stuff. I don't care. But yeah, that if you really want to get into bringing the spiritual into the human and
Yep.
experiencing yourself as a 360-degree being, you better be able to be in touch with your emotions, and you better want to make sure your day is not crap.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
mean you're
love it.
not going to get crap from people, but to
No,
be
you're just
able
going to be
to
like, done with that.
either done with that or I'm going to transform this stuff. And that's what I figured out. So I was like, yeah, let's transform all of it. Let's not play the game. And that's what Goodbye Good Girl Project is about. So can you share,
Yeah.
um, tell me like the most groundbreaking thing that you tell people that they go, what? What are you telling me? That's like totally the most amazing thing I ever heard.
Yeah, I think being able to get on stage and then having a call to action at the end is a breakthrough move for coaches. A lot of coaches out there are coaches or entrepreneurs because they have a solution that's very, very good and is going to save lives or change lives or create opportunity, save time, save money, better offer, better opportunity. All kinds of things are out there that are great, but they're just not known. And there, a lot of people are waiting for referrals or waiting for, somebody to find their, even if they have a funnel, somebody to find it. And for me, I really think that if you're really good at what you do, but nobody knows about you, then someone with half your talent and twice your price is going to serve the clients that you should be serving. And once you realize that you're doing a disservice to them by not getting seen, by not getting heard, by not getting your message out there, then you realize it's not about you. It's not, you can be nervous, you can be afraid, you can be scared to get on stage. But if you're not giving this magic to the world, then that's not fair to them. So once you realize it's not about you, it's about them, I think people like,
Oh my goodness. I think one of the major fears for women more than men is being visible.
yeah. I
I
mean, there's
really
a
do.
saying that, or a study that placed the greatest fears, and number two was death, and number one
Right,
was speaking, public speaking. And that
right.
means that if you're at a funeral, that the person behind the lectern would rather be in the casket than behind the lectern.
Oh my
I mean, really?
God. Oh my God. Now I was made a minister, which is hilarious because I'm really a Jewish spiritualist minister. Like there's a man that I know who said you'd be great at doing weddings and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And then
What?
he said he sent me out to do a funeral. And I went back afterwards and I said to him, I'll never do another one because I absorbed all the sadness. And the wife of the man who died was like, she just poured herself into me. And I'm like, oh God, I'm so, and her kids. And I'm like, oh my God. Um, and I just think that you really have to be careful when you put yourself out there that you
Yeah,
know who you are.
yeah. Do
Uh,
the things that light you up. And if
that's it.
helping at funeral, but there are people who would be really good at that, right? It's just
They'd
not
love
you and
it.
me, right? There's absolutely. So
Yeah, 100%.
there's a lot of stuff out there that I'm really glad somebody else is doing because I don't want to do that. And I'm glad that they're
Right.
happy doing it. That's a
Right.
great example of it. There are plenty of people who are very good at that. I have a very dear friend, she's a nurse practitioner, and she's so good at a bedside manner and spending time with individuals who are really struggling. And I thought, man, if I had to do that every day, I'd come home unhappy and tapped and exhausted. But she's so good at it, and it's good for her too. So yeah, I think that's why we're all different. I think that's
I know. Well, one thing I'm really good at is being an idiot. Now, let me tell you what I mean. Like, I don't mind jumping into the deep end on something and looking foolish. And I think that comes from my acting background. It's like there's no blood spilled. So, and
yeah.
there's so much learned by just going, I'll just try it. I'll just go live and I'll just talk about something, or I'll just do this, or I'll do that. Um, that seems like that's something that is absolutely up your alley. Is that something you teach a lot about, I think?
Yeah, I have a friend who says if you're not embarrassed by your first 10 episodes of your podcast, then you waited too long to start it. I totally agree. I am
Yeah.
all about fire, aim, ready.
Yep.
I think that people wait way too long to get into action.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we talked in the green room beforehand that my word for 2025 is move. Like
Love it.
my motivation and my conversation with everybody is like, we need to get you into action. A lot of entrepreneurs are like, well, I need this first, or I don't have my website up yet, or I don't have this yet, or I need to get better at speaking, or I'm not ready yet. And for me, it's like, go, just like Lori says, like, go, don't be afraid to fail. Failing is part of the process, right? It's
Yes.
part of the process. So
Yes.
go, do it, and then adjust. And really, high performers recalibrate a lot more often. Steve Jobs, I think it was. No, Amazon guy. Can't remember his name.
Uh,
Drawing a blank.
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos. He said, when we make a decision, when we are making a decision as the Amazon founder, when we make a decision, we probably have 60 to 70% of the information we need when we're
Ooh,
making it.
yeah, that sounds right.
And I thought
100%.
that's really great. He's also very famous for saying this is a U-turn decision. This is a U-turn decision, meaning I'm going to go. And if it doesn't work out, I can U-turn. right? There are
Right.
some decisions that are not U-turn decisions. There are some decisions like if we go this way, we can never come back. But most of the decisions you make in business are U-turn decisions. So let's go first. Let's move. Let's get into action, make it happen, and then recalibrate because it might be amazing.
The thing that we do that especially we women subscribe to or ascribe to is this idea that we have to look at everything through the male lens that we've all been taught so much about. And then what we miss is the spiritual. What we miss is the gift of failure and the gift of learning and unfolding on a daily basis. I mean, I've never had so much fun as I have these days when I'm just learning more and more about me, and I'm learning what lights me up even more, and I'm screwing up, and then I'm going, but it's not really a screw up because I learned this awesome thing. And I do think that we women tend to take on that lens that is
Yeah.
really has no feminine in it. And what you're talking about with having fun and lighting yourself up, welcome to the balance of feminine and masculine
Yeah,
is what I
yeah, and I think it's really important to be able to do that. Yeah, one of the spiritual journeys I went on is like I gotta find more divine feminine, because climbing
yeah,
that corporate ladder, woo, that is a masculine space, right? You're doing all that stuff and following, like you're punching it out and whatever. And so I was really good at what I did, but I was very focused, and I'd lost a lot of the connection with that feminine energy. Male and
yeah,
female, it doesn't have anything to do with that. We both
right,
lose energy. Like there's been times where I've lost my masculine energy and been like, like well, I need to like get organized again,
right.
or get more aggressive with something, or not be a doormat. All of those things, but having that balance, you're absolutely right. So making sure that we're not just that we're able to step in and step out and leverage what we need to when we need to. And as long as we're having fun along the way and it's in alignment with who we are as a soul, I think that there are no mistakes. And as you try things
Yeah,
out, it's just a recalibration. There is no failure.
yeah,
Although marketing will tell you that there's failure all the time. They'll be like, if you don't do this, your business is going to fail, your marriage is going to fail, your health is going to fail. You're like,
right.
there's all kinds of messaging out there from marketing, but that's just I hesitate to use the term scare tactics. It's marketing because we want to move away from the danger, the pain. And so we want to be sure that we're not doing those things that are going to cause us that pain. And they'll tap into that very quickly. But that's the good girl aspect. Like we don't have to be,
It
oh,
is.
I have this great quote. It actually was do you know Brene Brown?
Oh,
Brene
sure.
Brown.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
her. Brene Brown
Yeah.
had a TEDx, and I realized that my TEDx, I wanted to do a TEDx primarily because I saw hers. I'd seen a lot of TEDx's, but that TEDx from Brene Brown, she crushed it. I bought a
She
lot
did.
of her books on audiobooks, and she had this one where she talked about this perfume ad from way back when, and it was for Angeli perfume, and you'll probably remember it if you're
I
as
probably
old as I
do.
am. It's
Yeah.
I can bring home the bacon, fry it up
Fry
in a
it up
pan,
in the pan.
and never let you forget you're a man because I'm a woman,
Mm,
right? And she
yes.
said, I don't know how much perfume that sold, but I bet it moved a lot of antidepressants.
Oh, she is so right. Oh,
Right? Because like if
yes.
that's what we're supposed to be, and like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not enough. And that's where the not enoughness comes in. And who the hell do you think you are? And
Right.
all of those aspects that come in with the inferiority complex because of marketing.
Marketing and also the social shoulds.
Yeah.
All the programming from time immemorial. And I'm wondering, I work with women leaders, and I'm wondering if you ever knew any women leaders who were able to bring the feminine in and successfully navigate their careers
Oh,
through
so yeah, so
corporate.
many of them. But there's people on both sides. There are some very strong women who
Right.
operate in the masculine and they're crushing it. And there's women who are like, no, I get things done in a completely different way. Mary Kay Cosmetics, she ran her entire business around we're going to applaud people to success. That's what she was going to
Okay.
do. We are never criticizing. Every woman who works for us is trying really hard. And I don't care if she got out of bed today and wore something other than slippers, we're going to applaud her success. Like
I
that's
love
like,
that.
we're just going to be on the positive side. I love that. Right.
Beautiful.
There's plenty. I mean, Abraham Hicks is like, I don't want to do any of this. I'm going to hide behind the channeling. And I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then she just embraced it. She's like, I'm going for it. And she's not a masculine figure at all. And she channels Abraham. So
Right.
there's plenty of women who are out there. Oprah, right? She was
Right.
in a man's world in a really big way. And eventually, and she was climbing the corporate ladder as well. She was
Sure.
doing the things that they told her to do until one day she's like, actually, I'm going to launch my own channel, my own magazine, my own world, start a
Yep.
school for children in Africa, for girls, did like
Right.
the whole thing. Yeah.
It really is about just breaking that shell around us that's of
Sure.
here's how it's supposed to be, and I'm
Yeah.
supposed to act and be and all that. And it does come down though. You can prepare for a long time, but it just really comes down to are you going to jump in the deep end or not?
Are you going to move?
Are you going to move? Let's move. Listen, is there anything else that you would like to don't know to say to encourage women especially to
Oh,
move?
yeah. We're all learning a lot, right? We're all learning from, ideally, we're all learning from mentors. We're learning from our mistakes, learning from courses that we're taking. We're learning from friends. We're learning from customers. We're learning, learning, learning. My word for the year is move. I remember when I was very young, actually, my mom and dad got divorced when I was in my early teens. And my mom went to a lot of self-help classes. Like she would go to all these, they were called self-help at the time. Um,
Yes.
they're the classes that everybody takes now, whatever. But there were a lot of self-help. And so my grandmother was visiting us. And so she said, "Where are you going?" And my mom was on her way out the door and she goes, "Oh, I'm going to this class. I'm going to learn about this or whatever." And she goes, "Well, what kind of class is it?" She said, "Well, self-improvement class." And my grandmother looked at her and she said, "I think you're improved enough. Maybe it's time to have some fun."
Oh, I love your grandma.
Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? It's like, yes, self improvement is wonderful, but eventually, like the self improvement classes are because we're deficit somehow. We're deficient in some way. We
Yes.
need to fill in a gap because we aren't enough yet. And so I love that family phrase, and yeah, so that stayed with me for a really long time.
That's brilliant. Don't you feel like that's like the turn in the road we're being asked to take at this time in human history is to get away from this, I'm somehow flawed or I was born in original sin if you're religious or, like I think we're being asked to come away from that and go, I'm pretty freaking fabulous and I'm going to be even more fabulous and I'm going to learn and grow and appreciate you.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that that is self-centered and selfish. And if you ask Abraham Hicks, people will say she's teaching selfishness, and she'll say we absolutely, absolutely are,
Yes, I love that.
because we have to be selfish first. We have to take care of ourselves first. But here's the thing with that: that door swings both ways. It is not that I am God and amazing. It's that we're all God and amazing.
Yes.
We're all the universe and amazing. And when we
Yes.
say things like "I'm not enough," it is really diminishing the universe or God. Or if you believe that you're made in God's image and saying "I'm not enough, I need to improve, I'm not perfect enough yet, I'm not ready yet," then that's really slander against the one that you believe in. So I think, yes, we all are children of God. And when I look at you, Lori,
Yep.
I think, what is amazing? What gift did the universe give Lori? What
Mhm.
she truly like? I can't wait to discover what's amazing about you that is like
Right.
special just to you. And I think that all of us have it. And if we look
We
at
do.
ourselves that way and other people that way, then we're fine. If we're like, I'm better than everybody else, then it becomes a problem. Which
Yeah.
is a little bit in that masculine side, right? That as
Yeah.
I'm going to climb over other people, I'm going to do better than other people, I'm going to win this game, and other people are going to lose. And that balance is more like, yeah, I'm going to win this game. Everybody's going to win this game.
Right. Right. And this is such a big thing for women where we're like, I'm not supposed to take care of myself. I'm supposed to serve everybody else. So it's always that middle place, right? Because we do want to serve other people. I mean, those of us who want to
Yeah,
serve are like,
yeah,
I really want to be of use and of help to other people, but it's going
absolutely.
to have to come from my joy. It
Yeah,
cannot come from an empty cup of responsibility. Can't do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, ended up really just not happy at all.
I think many did. And I know this is about girls in this particular podcast. There are men who suffer from similar issues, right? There are men who are
Yeah.
like, I thought climbing the corporate ladder was going to make me happy. And it turns out I lost my wife. My kids don't talk to me. I made a ton of money
Oh
and I'm
man.
miserable.
Right.
What happened there, right?
So maybe it's about that balance. Maybe we can boil
Yeah,
it down in a way to
yeah,
are we balancing the masculine and feminine? Are we orienting ourselves towards joy and fulfillment, not the way anybody else told us it should look?
Yeah. And you said it so well. It's not about the shoulds. And if we can get away from that piece, and especially when we're learning from other people. I know that I've taken classes, I've had mentors, and one of my mentors said, this is how you build an online business. When I was wanting to build one, because I was curious, like, how do you do that? And he's like,
Right.
first you create this, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you sell this. And I was like, oh, this sounds fun. And I was doing all the things that I was like, ooh, I don't want to sell that. And his idea was sell a mastermind or a membership, and it's a year long and you get 20 people in it or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to do that part. And he was like, well, that's where all the money is. Like, you got to do that part. That's where the money is. I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound fun. And
No, not to me either.
and when I got there, I took the path and I was like, okay, I create all these things, and I liked creating all the things. But then when we got to that, you're going to sell them a $25,000 coaching program for a year and then spend time. And I love teaching, Lori. I love it.
Yep, I know
But
you do.
if
Yeah.
I have to coach somebody, which I've done, and in coaching them, and I give them like steps to move forward, and then they come back each week and they're like, oh, I didn't do that because this happened and that happened. And then each week they come back and say the same thing. Eventually I'm like, I'm not helping you. You are not helping you. And you are paying me a
Right.
lot of money for that to happen. And we need to stop doing that.
Yeah. No, there's
So,
nothing more dispiriting. It's
yeah.
funny how many people have said to me, well, just do this thing for the money. And I'm like, as much as I love the idea
Yeah.
of having no money woes whatsoever, that's not what motivates me.
Well, I will tell you that I'm very happy in my life at this point. I travel full time. I have a great relationship with my ex-husband and my two amazing children, and my parents are still with us in their 80s and they're living independently. I am independently wealthy, and I love being able to live this life on
Yeah.
my own terms. And I did that without having to follow the leader on all aspects. I did some learning, I did some action, I put stuff into place, and I do the things I love, and I do them all the time. I have a very good friend, Ginny, who does Speakers Playhouse with me. And one time we were at an event, and I just finished Voices of Women. It's a big,
Yeah.
big, huge event. And then we
Right.
were doing this event. And then after the event, I had Potapalooza, another big event. And we were in person at, I think we were in Dallas or New Orleans. And while we were in person, on backstage, I was working on the event that was coming. And she's like, okay, you didn't celebrate finishing Voices of Women and like, yay, I'm done. You're not here with us now because you're thinking about that. And when you get
Wow.
done with that, you're going to be thinking about the next thing. Right. And I was like, ooh, really
Yeah.
good point. I love what I do, but I need to focus on making sure that I celebrate the wins along the way. So that's my thing that I need to make sure that I do along the way, because when you love what you do, you can get caught up in it and then not be able to really digest how amazing life can be. So if it's,
Yeah.
I paid my electric bill this month and I'm super proud of that.
Right.
That's a
Right.
win, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to Brazil in 2 weeks, and before that I'm going to Oklahoma City, and before that I'm here with my daughter in Florida. And each one I can celebrate, right? And be like, this is amazing right here. And with you, having a podcast and an opportunity to share about Goodbye Good Girl, I think
Yep.
is something to celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you. That is powerful, girl. That is so powerful. You said one more thing I wanted to mention. Um, it had to do with that you don't need to wait until you're ready. What you need is inspiration and a system.
Yeah, yeah.
So just talk to us about that. That's an interesting to me that again. I mean, I sound like a broken record today, but that is like a combination of the masculine and the feminine. The systemic is very masculine, goal oriented, really gives you the side rails and the inspiration,
Yeah.
right?
I think the system in place that has worked for other people is a great place to start. I have amazing systems in place that other people can follow. I have a system for the 7 steps to speaking success, and it's
Mhm.
clarity, monetization, visibility, authority, engagement, scaling, and then getting to the wows. And it's that system works very well for me and for others, and has worked extremely well for others in the community. But
Right.
if you don't love what you're doing, none of it's going to work. So, as you say, it has to be a system and inspiration. Elon Musk is a very known figure right now, no matter what
Sure.
you believe about him. He has some really
Sure.
interesting quotes. He was at an event, I think it was a shareholders event, and a little kid came up to he was a little kid. He was in his 20s, so he wasn't that little bitty.
I'm picturing
Early
a
20s,
5-year-old.
early 20s, right? This early 20s kid came up and he said, I bought a share of Tesla. So I'm here at the shareholders meeting and I'm an entrepreneur and I have a question for you. And I want to know, as an entrepreneur, how to stay motivated.
Ooh, good question.
And Elon paused and he's like, well, being an entrepreneur is hard. And I have to say, if you have to be motivated to do it, I wouldn't recommend you start.
I think that's spot on.
And motivation is the thing that you have to like I can motivate my kids to take out the trash. I can motivate my husband to fill the car with gas. I can motivate I can motivate people, but there's a difference between motivation and inspiration. If you inspire people, if you're inspired to do something,
Yeah.
then it comes from within. Like I don't do that to you, right? The inspiration, if I can inspire you to move, right? I'm not going to motivate you every day to move, but if I can inspire you with the idea of movement will get you to the place that you want, and you can be inspired by something that I say, like, wait a minute, I can have fun and make money and make a living and do the things I love every day. That sounds great. Now you're inspired to be able to get to that next level. So you got to have a system, and it's either your system or somebody else's, and try somebody else's. And if it doesn't work, tweak it to be yours and then build on that, create your own system, have a system in place, and be inspired to do it every day. And I think that balance is really what equals success, long term success. You can have short term success by working really hard at something, absolutely. But if you're not
Yeah.
inspired to take action, it's not going to last.
No, and I tried the working super hard, like
Yeah.
pushing really hard. And all it did was exhaust me. It did not bring me any success, which I'm thankful for because I am such a perseverer. I just would have stuck with it and been miserable for years, you know?
Yeah.
So
And some people
that's
do because it can make success. Like if you work
yeah.
your buns off to climb the corporate ladder, you're going to be able to do it. But when you get there, it might not be the fun that you thought it was going to be. That's my story. I'm sure other people have similar stories. It's just,
Yeah.
working really hard without being inspired to do it. That's a tough road to hell.
Yeah. Yeah. For a minute, what I heard was it's a tough road to hell, but you said tough road to
That's it.
hoe. Both. Wow. So people can follow you, get in touch with you, like watch you do your magic on it's Thursdays
Yep.
at Speakers Playhouse. Can you tell them about that so we know
Yeah,
how to?
it's not your father's networking event. It is a gamified, goofballery, high energy, high passion opportunity to be able to find speaking opportunities and find speakers if you have a podcast or a show where you interview other folks. It's called Speakers Playhouse. You can find it at speakersplayhouse.com. And we are live every single Thursday on Zoom from 10:30 a.m. to noon Pacific, every Thursday except between Christmas and New Year. And this year, the year that we're recording, Christmas and New Year fall on a Thursday. So we're going to skip 2 weeks this coming.
I say yay, hooray. Just take time off and reorient yourself, refresh yourself, and make life good, just like your cup says.
Life is good.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Well, listen, I will put into the description all of the ways to get in touch with you that you've given me. So if you're out there going, oh my God, I gotta meet this woman, I gotta go, I want to be a speaker and I want to get inspired. Or I want to hire her as a speaker because international speaker here. You can do that. And thank you a million. This is just so much fun. I
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. If
Yeah.
your folks are trying to get on stages, I actually have a really cool thing. I'll stick it here so that you can put it in the chat. It's called the Mike Mastery Scorecard. So if you're like, I'm not sure I'm ready, I'd love for you to take the scorecard and see how ready you are to get on stages. I think it'll give you some inspiration and excitement. And I think it's available on the Speakers Playhouse website as well. But
Wow.
I will put this particular link in the chat so you can play with it and have fun.
That's wicked. I love it. All right, my friend, have a marvelous day, a marvelous evening, and a marvelous everything.
I love it. You too, Lori. Thanks so much for having me. Super important work that you're doing out here in the world, and I hope you're having fun doing it.
I'm having a blast and it's better every day. That's all I got to say. I'm sticking with it. That's my treat. All right. See you next time.
Cheers.